Yo, what up YouTube? Crash Wilcox. And today I kind of got follow-up to last week's video, or maybe part 2, however you want to look at it, to the how to build your PC in 2020. In that video, we looked at sort of the websites that I like to use and how I like to use those websites to get what I think is really good value for your PC parts. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how I use those websites and navigated those websites to find good value on 2 computers. So as this is aptly named, this is a budget PC battle. So I'm going to be building 2 computers here. And I use those websites and one other one I forgot to mention that I'll cover here pretty shortly to help me build 2 sub $300 computers. So these are going to be used for my kids. They are homeschooled now, just like all kids, and they just need something simple to do some online schooling. And then also, you know, they like to play games. They play things like Roblox and Minecraft and that sort of stuff. So they don't need a ton of hardware for that. So we're gonna walk through what the parts list is here. Once we're done with the parts list, I'll go through some benchmarking on both computers, comparing the 2, and then I'll wrap it up with some final thoughts on which way I think you should go with the build. And if you want to see the full build guide for both computers, those will be up on my Patreon page. I would implore you guys, if you have $2 a month, please consider supporting the channel. You know, I'm not Linus yet, or Jay's 2 cents, or Paul's Hardware, and I don't get any of the stuff sponsored or given to me. This is all purchased out of my own pocket. So if you guys could spare a few bucks, that would be, I guess, much appreciated. So with that being said, we're going to dive into the video. Before we do, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. That really helps out. With that being said, as you see here, the case, I only have one case up here because both computers are using the same case. This is the DIY PC, DIY S07, I believe, is what it's called. And it is about the cheapest case that I think you can find new. I bought both of them. They were $29 a piece on Newegg, and it feels like a $29 case. It is not that impressive, but it has a decent amount of space to build in, and it was uber cheap. So that's why we went with it. So that's what we're using for both of them. So with any good computer build, I always suggest that you start with the CPU and you sort of work your way from there. So the CPUs for these, we are going with, on the AMD side of the house and the Intel side of the house, we've got the Pentium G 5400. And then on the AMD side, we got the Athlon 3000G. They are both 2-core, 4-thread CPUs. The only main difference is the Athlon is unlocked, so we can overclock that, which we probably will. Otherwise, the only other main difference is the price. So for the Athlon, we got that for $49, and I bought that at Walmart. So that was the one website that I forgot to mention in the last video. I would recommend if you have a Walmart in your area, check it out, just based on how prices vary day to day, week to week. You know, if you bounce that off Newegg and Amazon and the other websites that I talked about, you might get a deal. And that's what we did with the Athlon. At the time I purchased it, I got it for $49 at Walmart, and on Newegg, I think it was $60, and it was mid-50s on Amazon. So just a little bit cheaper at Walmart. I ordered it, went and got some groceries, pick it up in store, and it was super easy. The Pentium G, we got that for $59 on Newegg. And yep, that's the CPUs. So going on from the CPUs, motherboards. So for the Intel side of the house, I bought a MSI Z390 Gaming Plus. And I got this used on Mercari. I got it for $61. And then on the AMD side of the house, we picked up the venerable MSI B450 Tomahawk. and I got this refurbished on Newegg for $69. And the reason why I decided to go with these boards as opposed to lesser boards is this gives us an opportunity to grow a little bit. Now, obviously, we're not going to be putting an i9 or a Ryzen 9 on these computers in these cases, but having a nice Z370 board or a nice B450 board, that does give us a little bit of leniency. If maybe I found a good deal on an i3 or an i5, you could easily put that in here and it would perform well. Same thing on the AMD side of the house. If you found a good deal on a Ryzen 5 or something like that, you could easily slide that into this motherboard and it would perform perfectly well. So that's the reason why we went with the boards. Also, you're not even going to find a cheap new board, for $60 really. So these were great value for what they were. This one used, I did test it out. Everything works perfectly fine. So the next thing was, we'll go RAM. So the funny thing is I got the exact same RAM for both computers. I bought one new and one used. So for the Intel side of things, we got the Patriot Viper, and then same thing over here on the AMD side. Try to put all this up here and not have it fall down and get broken. I don't know, sure. There you go, Patriot Viper. It was DDR4 3000 megahertz. They are 8 gig kits, both 2 sticks of 4 gigs apiece. And I got the new box on Newegg for $39. Got the used RAM on Mercari for $37. So not much of a price difference there. I happened to buy the used kit first before I went and found the new one. And the funny thing was, the reason this video is being done now is because Newegg took so long to ship the new kit. So I actually got the used RAM probably 3 days early. Don't know why that was, but it worked out pretty well. And, like I said, these are just homeschool computers, some real simple games. So the RAM, 8 gigs is plenty. It's not going to slow them down at all. 3000 megahertz is pretty speedy, for what little kids need to play, Roblox and stuff like that. So that's going to be good kits, both pretty inexpensive. Moving on from there, we will go into the power supply. So on the AMD side of things, we got the, see if we can get this up here, Thermaltake 430 watt Smart Series. And then on the Intel side, we're going with the EVGA 500 watt. Both of them are 80 plus white certified. So they are 80 plus, just, not terribly, not overly efficient, but I've used the 430, the Thermaltake before. It works great in the computer that we have it in. And then EVGA, I mentioned this in other videos, it just works. If you're not sure what to buy, get EVGA, it will work. So I have no issues, no concerns over the 500 watt EVGA. Both plenty of power. They do give you a little bit of room, like I said, to grow. Obviously, we're not going to throw 9900Ks and 2080 Ti's in here, but you will be able to get a decent amount of power and run a decent amount of equipment off of either of these power supplies. So the last thing that we have for these builds is the hard drives. We went with, on the Intel side of things, we got a Mushkin, I believe it's called, Helix 250 gig. And then let's see where we can put this. The AMD side of things, we got a XPG SX 6000 Lite 120 gig. Now, not a lot of hard drive, I understand that, but with the Intel side of things, that's going to be the only drive that we put in here. And 250 gigs is plenty when you start talking about just saving some Word documents and 1 or 2 simple games like we talked about. That'll last just fine. And as far as building on, even if we decide to build further onto this computer, later on, that's still a good boot drive. An M.2 NVMe drive will make sure this thing's always running speedy. And then same thing on the other side. 120 gigs, not a big hard drive, but on this one, I do have a Silicon Power 512 gig SSD that I will be utilizing with this build as well that I just happen to have on hand. So it's not counted in the total cost of the build, but that's what we're going to be using. Oh, and sorry, I didn't mention this before. I got this power supply for $49 on Newegg. The thermal tank I got for $38 at Walmart as well. The Mushkin SSD I got for $39 on Newegg, and the XPG I got for $32 on Newegg. And then what else do we have here? That's it. So that's the full build. That's everything you need to get these computers up and running. And the total cost for these on the Intel side of the house, $291, I believe, with tax. On the AMD side of the house, $271 with tax. So both of these under $300, full builds. Now the things that we did, I am adding in a few things that aren't included in this build because they're not necessary. This is everything you need to get up and running, start going to school, doing what you need to do. But I just have a few things laying around that I've picked up over time, again, using these websites, and I'll touch on that. So I'm going to include them in this build because otherwise they're just sitting in my house collecting dust. So the first one was that hard drive, that's going in here. The second one that I'm using in the AMD build. Now both of these CPUs come with CPU coolers that are perfectly fine. These are very low power CPUs, but I have a Corsair, I don't even know where to put this, Corsair H75, let's see if that'll tip over, that I bought on eBay for $55. It's a 120 millimeter AIO. It has 2 fans, so push-pull, and I'm going to put that on the AMD build. It's way overkill for what this CPU needs, but like I said, I have it, so I'm using it. And it will probably wind up being the coolest running Athlon 3000 in existence. So that's going to be great there. The last 2 things, for the Intel side of the house, I picked up a Sapphire R9 280. Old GPU, you know, it predates the RX 500 series, but it's still going to perform well. And I got it for $48 on Mercari. So it'll just take those integrated graphics, push it a little bit further, help her get, you know, a few more FPS out of those Minecraft games there. So that's that. And then on the AMD side of the house, let's see where I can put this. Ooh, right there maybe. I got a RX 590, the Sapphire 50th anniversary edition. I got that on eBay as well, paid $180 for it, which is probably more than I should have paid for an RX 590. But in my opinion, it's sort of a collector's edition, or a collector's item. It's the 50th anniversary one. And here's a question, I suppose, for the comments. If you guys see this video, please comment. I think the Sapphire Anniversary RX 590 is the best looking graphics card ever made. I think it is gorgeous, and it doesn't fit every build now because it's gold, but I'd be curious to hear what you guys think as far as what are the best looking graphics cards ever made. But that's the full build. So this is everything that's going to go into it. The benchmarks will be run without the graphics cards. If you want to see benchmarks with the graphics card, again, I'm probably going to have those on Patreon. $2 a month. Please come support me. I could really use it. And otherwise, that's the build. I'm going to go ahead, start getting these things thrown together, and then we will jump into the benchmarks, and I will wrap it up with some final thoughts. All right, see you guys in the benchmarks. that's a wrap. That's the battle of the budget PCs. So just a few closing thoughts. First, if you want to see the full build guides for these with the additional benchmarks with the GPUs installed, please go check out my Patreon page. The link will be down in the description. As little as $2 a month, and you can see, like I said, the full build guides, but more importantly than seeing the build guides and videos, you're helping out a small business kind of get up off its feet, and that would be very much appreciated. So my thoughts here, number one, if you've never built a budget computer or even a super budget computer, I would highly encourage it. If you've got the disposable income laying around, they are a blast to build. It's a ton of fun scouring the used market to find value, and then just seeing what you can throw together and seeing how well it can perform. And you might even wind up appreciating that old computer that you may have that you sunk a lot of money into years ago and not sure you should upgrade it. Try one of these out and you may come back to realize how much you appreciate that computer. So they're a ton of fun. I encourage it if you got the money. So my thoughts on this, as far as battling it out, which one is the winner, I would go with the Athlon 3000G. First and foremost, it was cheaper. And when you're talking about budget computers, cheaper is better. And number two, it's just a lot more fun. Having an unlocked, overclockable $50 CPU that you can just, try to overclock the snot out of. You're not worried about messing it up because it's $50. If you got to buy a new one, no one wants to lose $50, but it's only $50. So, and it was just a better gaming machine, as you saw from the benchmarks. So I think for those benefits, it was the clear winner, I think. But I do think there's value in the Intel side of the house, and maybe somebody can quantify this, I guess, for me in the comments. If you have an idea or what I'm talking about, please let me know. But I've used plenty of Intel and AMD CPUs, and I don't know how to quantify it, but AMD CPU or AMD computers just seem more sluggish. They just seem to need to be, restarted, bugs cleared out, or whatever you want to call it, way more than Intel. Now the Intel is not overclockable, it's more expensive, but when you turn it on, when you hit the mouse, you click the mouse, it just seems more responsive. And I don't know how to quantify that, but if you are into building one of these super budget computers and you just need it for that homeschooling, you're not gaming, you just want a good, reliable machine, go with the Intel. This is the reason why I got rid of my Ryzen 9 and transitioned back into my i7-8700K. It feels better, it runs better. I can't quantify it other than user experience. The Intel is just a better user experience. So if you're into computers, you like messing around, tinkering, doing all that, AMD is the way to go. If you just need something that works every time when you push the button, low maintenance, go with the Intel. It's a better option, in my opinion. That doesn't mean I'm an Intel fan over AMD. It's just my user experience. Intel feels crisper, feels more reliable, feels less bogged down. And for that reason, that's why I use an Intel computer now. And if you're that kind of person, go with the Intel. So that's the computers, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please, again, like it if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. I'll have a lot more content coming out. And then I'll have links down in the description to some of this stuff on my Amazon and eBay affiliate links. And then that Patreon link as well, if you find it in your heart to help me out. But it's been fun, guys. God bless.